So hello YouTube, welcome back to another market outlook series. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. So I hope you guys had an incredible week. Last week I couldn't send the video on the market outlook because I was a little bit busy, but I managed to send some charts, and I had a lot of people saying that a lot of the setups were playing out and it was useful. So, this for me was a very great week. Just month after month, we've really been doing very good, and it's always using the same system, right? We're not changing system. It's always the same thing, repeat, and this is how we manage to stay consistent month after month, week after week, right? So let's not take too much time. Let's start from EURUSD, and we can just start from the monthly time frame. So we can break down some of the moves that we may see happening on the weeks ahead. So if we quickly look at the monthly time frame, we can see that the overall intention on the monthly, the structure is still bearish up to this point, because we had previously a structure high, then we had this low, and then we had this high. So price gave us right here a change of character, mitigation, then a second break of structure, and price now just came to this supply zone, which is situated around I believe it's way above 50% fib. So if I use the fib from this high all the way to this low, we can see the price just came perfectly into the 61.8 golden zone for sale. So this is just the premium level zone. So after that, we drop down to the daily time frame. We want to see that structure shift on the daily that will tell us that that we have shifted from bullish to bearish. So we had previously this swing structure high, then swing structure low. This high was broken right here, but what was decision for making that happen was this low right here. So that's where we had the change of character. Now, me personally, for me to really be long-term sales, I would need to see price taking out this structure low. This is what I've been talking about on the previous outlooks, is that I wanted to see price come and at least violate this previous low. That would tell us that, of course, okay, we've really shifted from bullish to bearish on the daily time frame. So as of now on the daily, we didn't have a body closure below this previous structure low. That's what I'm still expecting to see on EURUSD. So if we drop down to the 4-hour time frame, we can clearly see that the 4-hour is relatively bearish up to this point, very bearish. So we had the break of structure, price mitigated supply zone. I remember I sent this as well on the free Telegram group, and then we saw price breaking this structure right here. We have the body closure below the structure, 4-hour structure low. So what I'm expecting is either price comes into this supply zone right here, and basically we have price pulling back into this supply zone right here before we have that continuation to the downside, so we can have the daily body closure. Or there is a possibility that price may come into this supply zone, have some sort of reaction, but pull back into this major supply zone right here on the 4-hour, and then we have that continuation to the downside, so we can ride the daily body closure below the daily swing previous swing low. Right, so this right here is a very good supply zone because it swept liquidity, then engineered the move that wanted to take this previous structure low, and we have a ton of imbalances sitting above. So there is a possibility that this can just be a form of liquidity build up, because if we use all the way to this, we can see this trend line liquidity form. So price can come here, give a nice reaction to this supply, pull back into this one, and then we have that continuation to the downside. Or it may just come into this one, so we can have that daily body closure before it comes all the way up into this 4-hour supply zone. So that's basically it for EURUSD. Let's move to the next pair. Now Aussie dollar, we don't need to look much. I think it's been very clear from the other breakdowns that from the weekly time frame, the structure is absolutely bearish. We have the break, pullbacks, second break, price comes into the extreme right here, and then we have this structure shift to the downside, and now we're expecting price to do all that pullback to take out this weekly previous low. So whatever is going on within this range is what we call internal structure price action, and we just need to look at it from the daily and 4-hour time frame. right? So if I drop down to 4-hour time frame as an intraday trader, that's basically what we need. We need the daily and 4-hour. We can clearly see that the structure overall is absolutely bearish on the 4-hour. We have that break of structure right here. Price came into this extreme supply zone. We had a beautiful change of character within this range high and low. So this just shows that the sellers are still in control up to this point. Now we had this nice internal change of character. We have a nice supply zone sitting right here on top. So that's what that's what I'm expecting for the next week, is to see price pulling back into this supply zone, because this is actually the 4-hour. I would probably love to see an M15 change of character here that will tell me that this supply is holding, and then we have the continuation to the downside to take out this 4-hour previous low and ride price all the way to the weekly previous low. Just simply that this on Aussie dollar. Let's move to the next pair. GBPUSD, similarly to EU, if we look at it from the monthly, the structure is absolutely bearish right here. So we had this beautiful break of structure, mitigation. We have the second break of structure. We had a body closure here. This was the first attempt, but what happened? Sellers failed to close below the previous structure low, so buyers were still strong, push price up. Sellers said, we gotta push price all the way down. That's when we had the body closure right here, the solidification of this break of structure and of the bearish strength of over the markets at this particular point. Price now did a pullback. If we use the fib, price is way above 50%, which is the premium golden zone for sales right here, perfectly above 61.8, almost to 68.6, which is a very golden zone for sales, especially on a lower time frame, bearish range. That's what we like to see, at least something around 61.8 or 78.6. So we drop down to the daily time frame. Once price tapped that monthly supply zone, we can clearly see something very interesting, is that we had this previous structure high, low and high. Then we had the daily change of character up to this point, pulled back right into what was responsible for creating that daily change of character, and we have the continuation to the downside. So we can see that, price has been taking all these lows, and GU is absolutely bearish. So if we drop down to the hourly time frame, we can use the 2 hours time frame. Up to this point, the price action has been absolutely efficient on GU. Price has been breaking structure and coming back to point of interest that were responsible for it. We had this break mitigation right here, and price just broke structure right here again. So what I'm expecting is some sort of pullback right on M15. That if we can have an M15 pull back to the upside, that would be a sign that okay, we're starting that bullish trend into this hourly supply zone before we have the continuation to the downside. So overall, the high time frame with GU, the high time frame intention is bearish. So for long term, we want to be bearish. But if price gives us an M15 change of care to the upside, maybe we can buy on lower time frames all the way up. Right, so this is how you trade counter trend with high time frame confidence, which makes it high probability. So what I'm expecting is the same 15 change of character to the upside and mitigation. Then we have the continuation to that push to the upside, and then we ride the continuation all the way down into the monthly previous structure low. So that's it for GU. Let's move to the next pair. New Zealand dollar, similarly to Aussie dollar, they pretty much got the same structure, right, on the weekly time frame. We can clearly see that up to this point we had a break, pull back, second break, price comes into the extreme. Then we have this change of character right here on the weekly. Price comes perfectly into the supply zone right there after it swept that relative equal highs liquidity here. So we have price coming into this supply, and then we have the push all the way down. So now on this one, we can drop down to the 4-hour time frame. That's basically what we need as an intraday trader. So up to this point, we can see that if we look left, everything was absolutely efficient right here on New Zealand dollar. Every break was getting its due mitigation, right? So let me just scroll this right here. So if you guys look left, we had the break, mitigation, and everything. Then price broke came all the way down. It left a ton of imbalances, and we still have this supply zone above. That's what I was still expecting to see. I wanted to see price coming all the way up into this one, and then we have this push all the way to the downside. But up to this point we had this liquidation of the previous structure high, then break of structure, and price just came and currently is reacting in this supply zone. Now if I drop down to 1 hour time frame, there is something quite interesting that we can see, is that price we had this first tap into that supply zone, then the change of character, but price didn't respect the supply. But up to this point we can see that price failed to close above the previous structure high. Usually when price fails to give a body closure above the previous high, this is a sign that the bullish sentiment in the market is in depletion and sellers are stepping into the market. So what I would expect on lower time frames, I will try to look for sales all the way down to this previous structure low that failed to give us a body closure above, right? But we can still wait for M15 change of character right here, a nice M15 break of structure, so we can have that confirmation that, okay, we'll continue to push all the way down, or we can just wait for price to break this low. But looking at it, if price breaks this low, it's just going to continue to push all the way down. I really don't believe that price will still come back and then give us the mitigation before it continues down. So I will still monitor once the market opens, I will still monitor the price action on M15 to see if we're going to have a break of structure here, so we can look for sales all the way down. But this right here is just the first sign that the bulls right here was, the bullish sentiment was in depletion and sellers stepped into the market to push price down. So far we have a good reaction. It's not enough, but we can still monitor the M15 reaction once the market's open. So USDCAD, we can look at it quickly from the monthly time frame. We can have a very good top-down analysis on this one, but just by looking at the monthly, we can see that the overall intention on UCAD is bearish, right? We had this break right here, pull back, price comes into the extremity of this supply zone, then we have the second break of structure, price then pulls back into this supply zone. So what we're expecting is to have that continuation to the downside into the monthly previous structure low, right? So we drop down to the weekly time frame, and we can see that right here, let me just we can look at it like this. We can say that, okay, this was a high, then price pulled back, created this high, so change of character, mitigation, second break of structure, price comes into this extreme, which is actually this supply zone was found on the daily time frame. So even on the daily, I believe the whole structure is much visible. We can see that we had this previous structure high, low, high, then we had the change of character, mitigation, second break of structure. So the overall order flow shift here, right here, has been confirmed. We have shifted from bullish to bearish. So we drop down to 4-hour time frame, and we can see that we had this major structure right here, structure high and low, that he had swept liquidity before he made this high. So we're expecting this low to hold, but guess what happened? Price was tapping into supply zone, so we most likely wanted to see price continue all the way down. So we had this major push to the downside right here. We have this, basically I'm not seeing that much of a very clean order block sitting above for price to come back to. But as of now, if we drop down, for example, to the hourly time frame, which is we can use the 2 hours, we can see we have this bearish order flow right here still intact. We have the break, mitigation, second break, price comes into this extreme supply zone. So once price comes to my hourly supply zone, I like to drop down to M15, which is our medium time frame. So if we look at the M15, we can use this swing structure low and say, okay, this right here was when we had the break of structure right here, and we had the liquidation of this previous high right here, but price failed to close above, which is a sign of bullish sentiment in the market and depletion, right? And then we have this strong push, and we have a ton of imbalances that was left there. So we have this beautiful supply zone sitting right here. So this is what I'll be looking at. This is the M15. So once price comes here, I'll drop down to lower time frames and look and wait for our change of characters and everything, right? To you break and retest anything, right? So once price comes into the supply zone, I'll be looking for sales, so we can continue to move to the downside. And we've been able to see that from the high time frame, the whole overall intention is bearish. So that's it for USDCAD. Let's move to the last pair. So here we are on gold. Gold, we don't need to to spend too much time on this. We can just look at it from the weekly time frame. That's all we need. we have, if we look at it from left to the left, we have this relative equal highs right here. We can even extend to this one right here and say that this is the wall zone right here. Some people will say this is the resistance zone, right? But this is just a ton of liquidity that has been building up right here. So I'm still expecting to see, because we had this push to the upside and we have imbalances, a very clean order, unmitigated order block. What I'm still expecting is to see price continue to push down into this order block, and we have that continuation all the way to the upside, so we can grab all this liquidity that is sitting on top, right? So that's basically it from the weekly time frame. We can drop down to the daily, right? So we can watch the, you know, that the order flow is absolutely bearish right here. We had a break, mitigation, break, mitigation, break. Price comes into this daily supply zone. So what do? We drop down to 4-hour time frame. We want to see that 4-hour change of character. This is exactly what we had right here. Price gave a change of character and pulled back all the way into this supply zone right here. Now, if we drop down, for example, to the 1 hour, as far as up to this point, I remember I sent this just a couple days ago on the free Telegram group. That's when I sent these two balls and I said, okay, I'm waiting to see price coming into this supply zone so we can look for sales. I personally don't trade gold, but you know, some people trade gold, so I don't mind giving an analysis on gold. So even if you look at it from, you know, using our previous strategies, right, the break and retest, we can see that this actually was a very significant zone. Price tapped, you know, this we had the tap here, price pulled back, broke, retested, came all the way up, and then we had the push. So now price, we're seeing price doing a retest, which actually coincides with our, you know, two breaks of structures right here. Or if I drop down to M15, we can see that we had this break, mitigation, and break, and now we're seeing price coming all the way into this supply zone right here. So price up to this point, I pulled back all the way into this one, and now what I'm still what I would expect or recommend is to see price to drop down to lower time frames, and we can look you know, for sales on lower time frame, and we can monitor this low right here. This was a low that was broken into that supply zone, and then we have this order block right here, this zone. So we can monitor the reaction once price pulls back into this supply zone right here, and then we have the continuation to the downside, right? So that's it for the weekly outlook, guys. I hope I made the point clear. I hope you guys have an incredible week and end of September. I mean, as we all know, this is marks the beginning of one of the most you know, one of the most high, you know, periods of trading, right? Yeah. So I hope I made the point clear with this breakdown. If you guys like the video, smash the like button for me. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, and don't forget to, you know, join us on the mentorship if you liked. You know, we have a monthly membership, the yearly membership, the lifetime membership, and I'm gonna see you guys on the next one.